A very warm welcome to all the participants in today's webinar. This is our 64th webinar in our talk series, and a special welcome to Speaker Shri Eswaran ji for making the time to be with us here today. Before we introduce our speaker, and for those who were not here earlier and have joined us today, Rtambhara Wellness is a collective of like-minded individuals that look at wellness in a holistic way. We conduct corporate programs and retreats for wellness that look at personal transformation and tapping into oneself to unlock our infinite potential. So we are conducting these programs virtually, and please check them on our website, rtambharawellness.com. We are also conducting webinars regularly on topics that delve into self-discovery, personal transformation, health, harmony, and holistic well-being, as well as the arts, which help connect us with our higher selves. And all our earlier talks are uploaded on YouTube under Rtambhara Wellness. If you'd like to be part of our community, please post your contact details, cell number, so we can add you to our groups. Please post it on the chat function. So let's get on with today's program. Shri Eswaran ji will be talking to us on renunciation, and today's session will have 45 minutes of talk followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. A request to all of you to stay muted through the talk and keep your videos on. Shri Eswaran ji has specially requested that you keep your videos on. And feel free to post your questions on the chat function, and Eswaran ji will answer any question in the realm of renunciation. It's my pleasure and my privilege to introduce Shri Eswaran ji to you. We have had him on several webinars earlier, but I'm going to introduce him again. Shri Eswaran ji is a senior disciple and protege of the internationally eminent philosopher Swami Parthasarathi. He's been studying, researching, and propagating Vedanta for over 25 years under Swamiji's guidance. Shri Eswaran ji is the founder of Vedanta Institute, Bangalore. So over to you, Eswaran ji. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. The topic we have today is renunciation. The word renunciation scares people a lot. Of all the words we have, one of the most misunderstood terminology is this renunciation. It is the renunciation, that's the sap of religion. You take out renunciation, there is no religion, there is no spirituality. You misunderstand renunciation, you have misunderstood religion, you have misunderstood spirituality. What defines is renunciation?
Just 1 minute each.
Yes.
May I request you all to mute Sudhakar?
Mute everyone actually in our this one setting. Mute all. You can have.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
only unmute.
I'll mute all.
No, don't mute me also.
Okay. Okay.
You can go to participants.
Yeah.
Where you will get.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
So what defines this renunciation? Now, this renunciation means running away. Obviously, all of us will understand it's not running away. But however, we still consider a person to be a renunciate only when he gets away from normal life, whatever we call as normal life. He should not be married and he should not be working for a company, but he can be working for an NGO. That is allowed. But he can definitely not be working for an organization. He can run a business. He can do this. All these things, creates the person into a renunciate. No, it is not isolating yourself from the society. If isolation were to be renunciation, then it is not designed for everyone. That's what we think, only sannyasis are renunciates, we think. Because sannyasi has moved away from social. So we understand renunciation only with reference to ochre color. Whoever is having ochre color is considered to be a renunciate. It says then it is not a philosophy which can be practiced by everyone. If something which cannot be practiced by everyone, who cares about it? Now, why should you and me sit and discuss about the things to know about which is to be practiced by a small minority? See, then it's not a practical philosophy. But renunciation is the essence of religion, and religion is universal, it is for everyone. Then renunciation has to be for everyone. Therefore, renunciation cannot be isolation, which is a complete misunderstanding. Then we say, okay, sir, is renunciation means you can be in the society, but then there is the next question that comes. It's not you have to abstain, but you cannot be having any individual possessions. Individual enjoyments should not be there. This is the second misunderstanding we have. Another misunderstanding. Second, in the sense, it's another misunderstanding. So you can be in the world, but then you should have only limited things. You should have only few. Only 2 pairs of dhoti and 2 kurtas. If you have, you are a renunciate. If you are having 365 shoes, you will not be considered as a renunciate. If you have only 1 chappal, which you have been using for the last 12 years, you call that man to be he's a great renunciate. Now Vedanta says no, that is also not renunciation, because we have had great representatives of renunciation like Janaka, who was a king. Krishna was a great renunciate, a picture of renunciation, perfect picture for renunciation you wanted to have. That is Krishna, which is impossible for any one of us to conceive, because he was living a luxurious life. He was a king. He was having all enjoyments. There is no taboo to enjoyment. There is no taboo to number of things that you can possess. It has got nothing to do with it. You can possess everything. Now this renunciation, all of us are interested to today. But also they, at the same time, when they are praising Janaka one side, the scriptures praise Sudama also to be a man of renunciation. See, now Janaka type of renunciation, all of us are interested in. Why? We are not interested in renunciation. We are interested in the lifestyle of Janaka today. Now that is why today all of us talk about, renunciation does all these things, then everybody appreciates. No, it's got nothing to, even if you misunderstand, the truth remains the same, that renunciation has got nothing to do with the possessions that you have and the enjoyments that you can have. Number of possessions and enjoyments. It's got nothing to do with it. Then we say, is it to do with, you can have the possessions, but you should not have too much. You say, too much of possessions you should not have. You should have some, limited. When you live with the limited possessions, is it the case, sir? Then we ask the question, who has to be drawing the benchmark? What is the reference point? We say, up to this possessions allowed, beyond that not allowed. Who has to define it? So which means you don't have to be isolating from society. You can have any number of possessions. There is no restrictions to it. And also there is no taboo in contacting and enjoying it also. There's another group of people whom we have. are all referred in the Himalayan ranges. They are all referred as Udasina Maharaj. They are called. When they'll go for begging. They'll collect some food. They'll bring the food. They'll have some roti and sabji. They'll give. They'll bring that roti and sabji, and they wash the roti and sabji in Ganges water, and then eat. What? All the taste, all that masala, all that salt, all the taste that is for Ganges, this sabji is for me. Taste is for Ganga. I'm giving this. I'm having. So what? I am a great renunciate. What? I don't enjoy. I have everything, but you should not contact them and enjoy it. If that were to be renunciation, that is far more frustrating than it is better not to have anything. To keep it in front of, there are a lot of people who practice renunciation like that. They say, I keep it in front of me, but I don't contact it. And they think they are practicing renunciation. No, there is no such thing also. So that means you can be well within this normal sphere of activities, whatever you are engaged in. There is no necessity for you to be taking a particular lifestyle. Now, that doesn't mean all sannyasis are pleased. You take to sannyasa for different purpose. That's about it. Now, taking up sannyasa, that formal ochre color robe, has got nothing to do with renunciation. Remember that. You can be well with the business world, transacting in samsara, in the world, within family, you can have it. And there is no taboo to the number of things that you can have. You can possess, and there is no quantifying also. You can have everything. Also, you can have any quantity. You can possess but not contact. No. You can contact also. You can contact, but you should not enjoy. No. You can contact and enjoy also. With contacting and enjoying, you can practice renunciation. Now, that is where we get really confused. If I can do all these things, where is renunciation? All this is allowed means you'll be wondering, what is the problem? Why people are struggling? With doing all these things to practice renunciation, to live a life of renunciation, is the difficulty. Then what envisages this concept of renunciation? Vedanta asks only a simple question. It says, renunciation, please understand, is not giving up anything. Renunciation is not giving up, it is taking up. You cannot give up anything. In fact, it is not possible to give up anything. You can only take up. As a result of you taking up something, you give up something. With reference to that, it is called renunciation. For example, few years back, if you look back your life, there was a time once you were so much of toys and trinkets you were having and playing with. Some marbles, some cards. I still remember we used to have this, stamps. So much of fighting we used to have for stamps. And we cheat also in that. You fool that fellow. You talk to him something. You talk quietly. You just sneak out. Nigeria. You'll just sneak out and roam. And run away. Such a huge thing we used to have. And then we were fighting for this, that. So much of fight for that marbles. Right. Right now, what is your connection to all that? That's called renunciation. With reference to the toys with which you are so involved once in your life, you are no longer involved with that anymore. How? Why? Because you had pitched up something higher. Since you had pitched up something subtler, nobler, superior, higher, the lower drops. That dropping of that lower as a consequence is called renunciation. So you can never practice renunciation, remember. You can never practice detachment. That's where everyone makes a mistake. People want to practice detachment. Renunciation is understanding. When you understand the higher, the lower drops automatically. You may be still playing with your child. The child brings this monopoly. You may be playing that monopoly with the child even now. And you are buying. Only in monopoly we have that option to buy parel, lower parel. Only there we can. You know. Otherwise, where you can? Malabar. You can buy entire Malabar Hills. You know, the whole area you can buy. One house there you can build. This money is lost. You earn the house. You get that rent. You pay rent. You give. You lease. You borrow. You pay. Sometimes you go to jail also. Right? 3 days you have to be in jail. And you do what? Doesn't matter. So what? Stay there. No. He'll say. Where? In the monopoly game. Whereas the child is also playing the same monopoly game with you. For the child, losing that house, gaining that property, earning that money, what is that? It is so much of involvement it has. It is lost in that. You are also playing, you are also enjoying, you are also earning. In fact, you play better than the child. And sometimes you deliberately lose. Why? Because you understand something about that monopoly money. The child's understanding of the monopoly money is different. Your understanding of the monopoly money is different. Now, when you have to see your currencies, what happens? If you were to have the capacity to view the currencies that you are carrying in your purse, like monopoly money, that's called renunciation. When will that come to you? Only how did you get that monopoly money? Understanding. Because of the higher. What is the higher understanding you get? The child is so involved in that. Why? Because the child genuinely believes in the reality of that monopoly money. Whereas you understand it is just a fake currency. It's not real. You have that understanding. There is no value for that monopoly money. You know that. The child doesn't know that. Similarly, if you can understand the unreality of the world in which you are living, right, which is almost impossible to get. That is why we dread this idea of renunciation. You see, why people don't connect to the idea of renunciation? It is scary. That is why today even spiritual gurus have started saying there's no such thing called renunciation. Appa, that is what we also want to hear. You see, we also want to hear what? Monopoly money is real. there is a great value of monopoly money, is what the child wants to hear. And if the parent also were to say that, the child will enjoy that. But it's not going to grow out of it. You have to grow out of it. What is it, sir? Renunciation. Understanding you have to get. You have to, when you understand the higher, what is the meaning of understanding the higher? This is one way. I'll put it in a simple manner. It will be a little easier for you to follow. Okay. If I'm going too philosophical. Right. I don't know whether you people are following or not. You know, I'm just looking at the blank screen and talking.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, you know,
Yes, yes, Ishwaranji. We are
because it's
following.
a very subtle idea. Because, you know, in 45 minutes, don't expect me to explain it to your understanding. It is not possible. I can only
Saji, we are following.
of it and come up with the song. See, every object in the world has a value, isn't it? There is a value for it. Correct? Maruti 800 has a value. Correct? And you have BMW 3 Series. Right? 50 lakhs. Maruti 800, they have stopped manufacturing now. Alto. What is the value of Altos? 2.5 lakhs. Or, okay, 4 lakhs. You say. Now, this is the value of that. This is the value. Like that, everything has a particular value in the world. Whatever the object is, whatever the beings are, there is a value for it. Now, what happens is, when you are interacting with those objects, along with that objective value of the object, every one of us add a subjective value to it. My car, that's why they say, you can be 100% sure when you are asking people about the mileage of the car. You can be 100% sure they will never give the truth. The facts they will never give. Every one of them will give little extra. Every parent believes their child is very intelligent, isn't it? Every one of us believe. You know, my daughter, she's very brilliant. Only problem is what? She's a little lazy. That's all. Oh, my boy is, very good boy he is. Only problem is, his friends are all very bad. That's all. This is exactly what the friend's mom also says. Every one of us, for anything that we contact, along with that, we add a subjective value to every object or being that we are transacting with, to every experience. Deleting that subjective value addition is called renunciation. That's all. For which you have to recognize what is the subjective value addition. See, what is that exaggerated value that I have added to that? Therefore, you need to know the actual value of the object. Don't say the value is 0. Immediately there is a group of people. So there is no such thing as there is no value to the world at all. That is madness. Somebody told you, we are repeating it. That's about it. That's not your experience. You see, we only parrot. And today, humanity has become fantastic parrots and imitators. Why? Because about 250 years back, 500 years back, if you have to know something, you will never identify where you will find an expert. Expert on that will not be available, first of all, for you. But today, what is it? Even if you are not attending the session, it will be available in the Facebook page. Anytime you can view and get the knowledge of renunciation. In Buddha's period, you have no clue where Buddha is going to be for you to go and get the answer also. Even if you want to know what is renunciation, Buddha will give you the answer if they say. You have to know where Buddha is. By the time you identify where Buddha is, you go there, he would have moved away. But today, we have so much of information with us. That information itself we have started assuming as our understanding. That information is not understanding, please. There is a difference between knowing something and understanding something. This knowing, I am adding value to it. First step. Second step is to inquire into what is that subjective value addition that I am giving. Then comes the glory of renunciation and all that. Your ability to recognize that is understanding. Now, what is this? That belief that I am carrying that this object or this being will give me happiness. To recognize that in that world that I live in, there is no happiness possibility. You see, now every relationship that we entertain, everything that you acquire, every contact that you establish with the world, you expect something from that, isn't it? Right? I go and buy AC. Why? Because it is too hot. So I wanted an air conditioner. I buy an air conditioner. What is it that I'm expecting out of air conditioner? It's not just air conditioning, please. It is the joy to have permanently after that all my problems with reference to air stopped. Nothing else should happen to me. That what I'm expecting out of the stern law of life is that will not be met. So you want to gain that, what you have to do, sir? You have to renounce. So when you get attached, that's what attachment is all about. You go and tie yourself with that. When you get attached to these things, you lose. What do you lose? When you get attached, you lose something. What is it that you lose? You lose what you expect from that. I get attached to the person. I relate to a person. Once I am establishing that relationship with that person, I get attached to that person. That is a subjective value addition with which I get attached. What is a subjective value addition? I expect something out of that relationship. So I am here, the person is there. I establish the relationship. I establish that for what? For something to be coming out of that person. The stern law says that will not be met. So what you have to do then? Drop that person. No, dropping the person is not the solution. People started thinking, oh, it is, the problem is there. No, so therefore what are we to do? Drop that. Like, no, that is not what the scriptures were saying. Yes, only through renunciation you reach that, man. There is no other way. It's only through renunciation. You cannot get it in any other manner. And the problem of life is when you get attached to that person, what you are expecting from that relationship, that will not come to you, but the person will be remaining with you. That's where frustration is in life. Everybody is frustrated in life. Is what? I can't do away that person. I can't throw that person out. I can't throw that object out now. But that presence of that person, that relationship is not giving me what I'm expecting. That's why a lot of people, they say, if divorce has not happened already, it is because of children. That's why a lot of elders, they say, as soon as you get married, first get a child. Then let us talk about all those things. Why? That is one way of cementing the relationship. Why? Because the moment these two were to interact with each other, the problem will be what? They will get attached. When you get attached, what happens? What you are expecting from that person, that you will not get. But that person will be there. It's like you go to a hotel, bill will come to you, but dosa will not come. Now, you can place order. You go to Vidyarthi Bhavan, you place order for dosa, bill comes. Every day you go to Vidyarthi Bhavan, you order for masala dosa, he brings the bill, and you pay the bill and you walk out. You have never had a dosa there. What will happen to you? This is exactly what is happening to us psychologically. Why this is happening? Vedanta says that is because of your attachment. Opposite of that is renunciation. Go the other direction. You attach means first you should have the courage and capacity to drop what you are expecting from that. What is it that you are expecting from that object or being in the world? You are expecting this object or being is going to give me permanent happiness, permanent love. Now that you are married, you should be loving me always. Since you are my child, since I gave birth to you, you should be grateful to me always. Everything that we are asking, we got to add that one word, always, always, always. That always is your subjective value addition. Renunciation is just dropping that and continuing the relationship. Our problem is you drop that, you drop the relationship also. Why? Because I'm relating to you only for that. When that itself is not going to come, I'm going to Vidyarthi Bhavan only for masala dosa. If I'm not going to eat masala dosa, then why should I go to Vidyarthi Bhavan? Simple. And these people go out. You call those people renunciates. That's not renunciation, please. Then what is it, sir? The capacity to understand. Now people ask, how do you practice renunciation? You cannot practice renunciation, please. Why? Because renunciation is growth. How can you practice growth? That is not possible. Remember, the higher dimensions of life are not available for practice. You cannot practice. It is like a child asking, how can I practice adult? At best, he can imitate like an adult. That's about it. He can never become. The child should have the courage to drop the childhood and become an adult. You can become a renunciate, but you can never practice renunciation. Then how are we to get into that state of renunciation, sir? You have to practice the spiritual disciplines, karma, bhakti, jnana. When you practice those spiritual disciplines, slowly the subjective value addition that you have been giving to the world will reduce, drop. That subjective value addition that you are giving to the world is referred in the scriptures as attachment, possessiveness, desires, ego, mindness, etc. That's all. Different contexts, they use different words. But all those things refers to your subjective value addition. That's what we say. Beauty lies in beholder's eyes. It's not there in the object. It's not in the person. It is in the eyes. Eyes means what? You have to look through my eyes. Meaning, you have to look through my desires. When you look that person through my desires, that person looks beautiful. You look that person through my desires, that person looks ugly. Through my desires, rich. Through my desires, poverty. Through my desires, good. Through my desires, bad. Your ability to remove that and look at it. What you look at, we don't have to worry about it. Renunciation means only that. Your capacity to remove your desires, your attachments. The problem is we live our life with the desires only. The driving force of your life itself is desires. Now, how can you practice renunciation? It is impossible. Now, this is what Shankara says in Bhajagovindam. Yogaratova, bhogaratova, sangaratova, sangavihina, yasya brahmani ramate chittam, nandati, nandati, nandati. What is renunciation, sir? You can be in yoga or you can be in bhoga. Doesn't make a difference. Meaning you can be in spiritual or you can be living a materialistic lifestyle. You can be in company or you can be in solitude. That's not the point. What is the point then? The point is, what is your thought? Where is your thought? What are you thinking about? To gain that understanding, I wanted to have only pleasure, delete all pain out of my life. I'm just giving an example. What is a misunderstanding we have in life, sir? In everything that we contact in work, in life, I want only pleasure. Pain part all delete. That is not possible. When you are asking for pleasure, you are asking for pain. It's a package. You can never have pleasure without pain. It's impossible. You need to go through that pain. The depth of your sleep, the quality of your rest is directly connected to how dynamically you have been working during the day. Isn't it? The day you have been so busy, so much of work you do, how you sleep. Look at all these, workers on the street. I've seen fellows sleeping in the jelly, on that he's lying and sleeping. On a truck. The truck is going, a fellow has put a towel on top of that jelly and he's sleeping. Will it not be poking him everywhere? And I see that as I'm seeing that fellow, the guy who is sitting next to me in the car, he's telling me, Eswaran, I'm having a real problem, man. Not able to sleep. Not getting a good sleep. I tried everything. I said, have you tried Vedanta? He said, what? Said, yeah, have you tried Vedanta? I said, why? You come for Vedanta lecture. In 10 minutes, you'll fall off to sleep. You don't need, pills, this. He says, I'm taking 2 pills, Ishwaran, but still I'm not able to sleep. I just showed that fellow right in front of him. Look at that man. He's sleeping. This guy is saying, he's very lucky. And that fellow were to see him, he will say, this man is lucky. Why? He's driving a BMW. He's driving Mercedes. Imported. Imported, Mercedes, he was driving. And a fellow were to see, rich man, so happy, must be, what a maja life, all that. And this man says, I'm not able to sleep. Why? Because sleep is directly connected to your work. How tall a tree grows is directly connected to how deep the roots dig. It's linked. You can never have only one. You can't just put a tall building without a deep foundation. Taller the building, deeper the foundation. That's a law of life. We cannot do anything. When you are asking for a great pleasure, you are asking for what? Now, renunciation is what? To understand this and say, I am not going to be asking for pleasure without pain. When I'm asking for pleasure, it will come with pain only. This is the understanding Buddha said. Life is painful. But Buddha's life was not painful. His life was blissful. How come his life became blissful? Because of renunciation. Because of this understanding, detachment. That ability to have a higher understanding. The moment you have that higher understanding, the proof of that is what will be the consequence of attachment will reverse here. Opposite, no. So in attachment, what happens? The other party repels. They run away from you. In renunciation, the world will court you. World will court you doesn't mean, don't say immediately from tomorrow onwards, everybody will be talking about you every day in the newspaper, you will be coming, flashed on the front page. That's not what we refer to here. Meaning, the people with whom you have been relating to, they will say, I come along with you. The detachment is that. When you are detached, when you are a renunciate, the world will court you. World will not run away from you. When you get attached, the world will run away from you. Now, if you can manage that, in attachment, people will want to leave you. In detachment, the world says, keep me with you. Take me along with you. Now, this is the way to season the relationships. Live in the world. Otherwise, we cannot know how to live in the world. Therefore, renunciation is not training you to get away from world. No, it is a way in which you live intelligently in the world, where the world courting you. The world will want to be with you, not waiting for you to leave. It will be waiting to move out. Now, attachment is opposite of that. So, renunciation is growth. Renunciation is taking up the higher. As a result, lower drops. Taking up the higher means understanding the higher. What is the higher understanding? Example, two things again. One, I have no business to add the subjective value addition to the objects of the world. Deleting that subjective value addition. Two, in any relationship, any objects or beings that I am in contact with, I have no business to entertain. I have no business to define. Only pleasure, no pain. I want all pleasure, no pain. No. If pleasure comes, welcome it. If pain comes, welcome that too. With the same attitude. Like how you were playing Monopoly game. You lose money, doesn't make a difference. You gain money, doesn't make a difference. That attitude, if you can bring into your life. But you can't practice it, please. From tomorrow, you can't be saying, the currency note you can't take and say, this is, my money, my money. It doesn't work like that. This is the effect, not a cause. Remember, renunciation, detachment is the effect of your spiritual effort. The spiritual effort is the practice of the three yogas, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Disciplined action, disciplined emotions, disciplined thinking. As a result of which, you have a higher understanding. The higher understanding comes the fragrance. When the flower matures, the petals fall away. You can't pluck the petals and expect the flower to mature, to bloom. That will not happen. But when the flower matures into a fruit, petals will fall off automatically. That is called renunciation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On that last note of the petals, I'm going to remember that, Ishwaranji. The flower and the petals dropping off automatically. Thank you so much. There was a lot that we got today, that renunciation is not giving up, it's taking up the higher understanding. And also, what was very interesting also was the objective value and the subjective value. Thank you so much for that understanding as well. We have to learn how to delete that subjective value for renunciation.
Great.
So, thank you so much. Very